everyone, this is Jen.
Hi, I'm Renee.
And this is Marriage Plus Business, and we are doing a video with Robert and Barbara Henderson. Yay!
Welcome.
Welcome. Yes. Okay. We're gonna be, probably the ones that are quiet the most. But you guys just got back today. You just got back home in Grants Pass, Oregon. Yes. From an 8,000-mile round, 9,000 mile cross-country trip. Okay, and so you just got back home. You're probably a little road weary. You're probably going to go to bed early tonight. But before you do, we want to hear all about it. So I'm going to just open up with, tell us about your adventure. Tell us what you were doing, what the goal was of your adventure, and the really cool stories, because we are in the middle of COVID-19. I'm sure you saw some really interesting things as you're trekking across the country during the lockdowns and social distancing. And if you could throw it all in there like a bag of chips, how's your marriage afterward? So I'll shush. Yeah, I think you guys are doing great. But seriously, a lot of people are going to be like, they're still married. Look at that. That's great. Right? So go ahead and just tell us. It's story time featuring Robert and Barbara Henderson. Go.
Well, sweetheart, I better let her go first.
I think he wants me to go first because he has a lot of words. But I will say this, that if you have to be isolated, it's really a great way to be isolated in a motorhome because you're still traveling, but you're still technically isolated. You know, you have your food, you have your kitchen, you have your bedroom. I think it's just about the best thing you can do. So to have been, I think we were in Florida. Yes, we did a couple rallies, and that was the whole object, was to go and make sales calls and do the rallies that Mike, you haven't met Mike, but he works for us, and he schedules our rallies for us.
Oh, yeah, and by the way, our audience may not know who you guys are and what you do, so could you tell us a little bit about what you guys do and what these rallies are?
Okay, Robert, I'm going to let you answer that question.
Okay.
I know what they are, but...
Well, my dad started an alignment and brake business in '61. He retired in the '70s and had he was either crazy or he knew what he was doing because he turned the business over to me and a brother of mine who had some substance abuse problems. And so in my 20s, I pretty much wound up running. And out of the 9 kids in the family, I was the one that wound up with it. And I don't know why I was the one that wound up with the business, but my dad was an interesting guy to work with. I knew he loved me, but he just didn't know how to show it in a way that I felt loved. So most of my other brothers left. I ran away once, come back working for him because he was honest. Other people I was working for were crooks, and so I found myself cleaning silkscreen T-shirts in a T-shirt factory, and like the proverbial son, I went back and knocked on my dad's door and said, "Dad, I don't care what you pay me. I want to go back to work for you because you were honest. The other guys that I went to work for were crooks." And so I'm very grateful for my parents who he wanted to give his boys a trade, and almost all the boys really were involved in pretty much the automotive industry, one or another. I've lost 2 of my brothers, but all of us were, except for one of them, was really involved in our industry. So I'm grateful for my parents, even though they're both gone now. And he took me back when he didn't have to because I had gotten in a lot of trouble with the law and had my license suspended 3 times and did drugs, sold drugs. I was a lot of crazy. So very grateful to even be alive after all the car wrecks and things that I was in. But so when we kind of, I was doing my best to get out of working on cars. Got my real estate license, securities license, insurance license. Just got to go to work for a company. Had the last license, and he said, "We don't want you." So about that time, an old neighbor said, "Hey, I got your new shop built." What new shop? I didn't know. This guy was so tight. He was unbelievably tight. On a trailer wheel seal at the time cost $2 or $3 retail, and he would make us use his wheel seals over again because he didn't want to pay for them.
What?
So he builds this shop. And the door's only 10 feet tall. So that door's kind of weak. We'd like to get some bigger, so he makes the door bigger. Well, it doesn't have a pit in it. He puts a pit in there. Never asked us for any money to do it. This was a miracle, So we got motorhomes in there, and we found out that wow, these things had some gigantic handling problems. We were old stock car racers, and that we were known for the people. If you wanted to make your low rider handle good, we cut the coils, put sway bars on it, make shocks fitted. And so we got working on motorhomes, and our business just exploded. And it really took off. And then about 5 years into it, my former partner, who I was married to at that time, didn't want to be married anymore. And so I went through 5 years of lawsuit, and I got to know the inside of a courtroom pretty good, even though I didn't want to be involved in any of that. God allowed me to go through it, which I would never wish on anybody else that I went through it, but I wouldn't trade it for all the money in the world either, because the longest journey in the world is 18 inches from your head to your heart. And so I got to know how much God really loved me and how much he really cared for me. But it took me like a pretty thick-headed and pretty hard-headed, never knew what a father's love was until I met my father God in a way. Been able to forgive my dad, restore my relationship with him, and we could love each other, and very blessed. A lot of good things have happened, and Barb came along, and she had plans first. Well, God had other plans, so we became active in the business together. Now, I probably should let her talk a little bit. Go ahead, Sam.
Well, I don't know if Robert explained about the rallies, and he started going to rallies before I knew him. But I remember one of the cool memories I have when we weren't married yet, or we were just starting to I guess you'd call it date. We did a lot of stuff, palling around as friends. And he had to go out to the shop and get something. And so we pulled up, and there was this motorhome. And so we went out there, and I was with them, and the people were talking to him. They came from Missouri. And I thought, who comes all the way from Missouri to Oregon to get their motorhome worked on? That was the wildest thing I'd ever heard of. Now I'm used to it. People come from all over to our shop because they trust them, and because we have the SuperSteer products that have been proven to be helpful. So, but one of the things they normally do, they can't do it right now, they have rallies where they all gather around anywhere from 300 to a couple thousand coaches. And
Wow.
so you go as vendors, and then you're able to really expose your products, and Robert does seminars, so you really get to promote your business that way. And it's a lot of fun. You really get to interact with people, and that's why we went to Florida, the main reason.
That's so cool.
Thanks, Barb. Yeah, we just introduced a bunch of new products for the Ford F-53 motorhome chassis. And so we have a rolling, it's a demo model motorhomes. We keep discovering new things. And, I believe you have to feel their pain. So we force ourselves to have to get a Tiffin motorhome and go out and drive around the country and test these things. It's a tough job, but somebody has to do it. So.
That's an excellent.
Oh, it's like the wine taster or the food critic. Oh, I have to taste your food. Oh.
No, it's a real struggle, to get paid to travel across the country, but it's a blessing, but it's taken a long time. We came a long ways from the old shop where it was just me and my brother working together. So I tell people it's taken 40 years to become an overnight success,
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so our coach really is dialed in good. The Ford F-53 chassis, when you put a coach that's like 13 feet tall on it, it has a lot of issues show up, and the weight can roll in this way, a lot of steering problems. So if I have to drive something, I have to live with it. It gives me a lot more incentive to want to really get it dialed in good. And so that's what we did, and it's actually got a liquid spring suspension on the rear, riding on a silicone fluid rear suspension, and it's about a $15,000 upgrade to have that installed on a motorhome. And so we were running that, and then we did a bunch of our chassis parts on the front. We've just introduced some new radius rods that really help tighten that front end up, wiggle around. Quad shock kit, and we also have some of the aftermarket products. We redesigned some anti-sway bars front and rear. We actually have a 2-inch diameter sway bar in the back of it. It's a monster. And then on the front, we've got a 1 3/4 that's got a special heat treat on it, and redesigned all the linkage, and it just handles like a dream. In fact, the owner of Tiffin Motorhome said this thing drives like a diesel pusher, and the head test driver said you could not ask for a better driving F-53 than the coach that you guys have. So we've been letting people drive it the whole way across the country and recording what they have to say about it. And they just been blown away by how good it handles. They call it it handles like a proverbial sports car for a motorhome. It's amazing.
Whoa. So I know this is like a business motivated adventure. But how is it so I know that you're intentionally wanting to make connections and have people drive this totally amped up, modified, awesome motorhome, right? How is it to have people drive your baby? Is it scary to have people drive your baby?
Well, no, not really, because most of the people that drove it, and as I say this, I can think of the exceptions, but they were technicians or service writers at shops. But when we did the last rally in Sarasota, Florida, we set aside an afternoon to let anybody that attended the rally to drive it. So I think he had about 9 different people drive it. So I wasn't with him, but was that scary? These are all people that drive them.
Yeah.
They all drive them.
Right.
But theirs isn't like ours.
I think, there's a couple gals that drove it and a couple guys that drove it, and the gals did really good. There was actually one guy, he was probably the worst driver of all. He clipped the curb and did a few other switch. Of course, we've all done that before. Sometimes you just can't help it. There's not enough room to get around some of these. But had some really good drive. One guy was a professional firefighter, drove fire trucks.
Wow.
He really liked it as well, but they could not believe how good it was in the wind, because usually these things are just really susceptible to the wind.
Right.
We had some incredible crosswinds going through New Mexico, and it just hung in there really good. We got some videos, one of the semis that was blowing around really bad. I think he probably had some other issues too as well, alignment issues with his trailer, but he was all over the road. We were just able to dial in our Safety Plus with one of our SuperSteer cruise trim units on it, so we could just dial it into that crosswind and held it right there. So that was another product that we had on there. Safety Plus is for blowout protection, but we make a device that allows us to use that self-centering steering control to hold it into the wind for you. So you're not having to fight the wind. You can actually use this self-centering device like a big giant steering, looks like an oversized shock steering stabilizer, but it's got a spring that's under a constant preload that brings it back to a center point. And it protects people from dangerous blowouts, because there is some incredible blowouts on some of these motorhomes that actually can take people's lives. And so it's one of the safety products that we sell. Our mission statement is safer and happier driving. So
wow.
And that's what we do for people, is protect them and give them the ability to travel in any kind of road condition, wind condition. So the way that I have to test things, I really push it. There's road construction now. Okay, road construction, we better speed up. I gotta hit this. I want to see what this thing will do, how it will handle it. If the components we build are going to hold up.
Right.
And so we've been able to test things thoroughly that way and see if there's any weaknesses and any flaws in them. We want to know about and find out before we release them to the public.
Whoa, I love what you guys are doing.
That's amazing.
Isn't it cool
Yeah.
what they're doing? Okay, so I'm so impressed. I've always appreciated RVs, but I've always been terrified of owning or driving one myself. Keep in mind, I drive a Mini Cooper, and he drives a Toyota Scion. We're small car
closest
people.
I had growing up was my parents had a Dodge Ram. A Dodge van.
Dodge van, okay.
Of some kind.
Yeah.
But it had the refrigerator console with the little pull up with the mirror, the round table in the back with
the van,
cup holes.
RV.
Yeah, the bed opened up. It had curtains on the back.
With 4 boys, of
Yeah,
course the parents are going to invest in that. Yeah, because it's the family van.
It's kind of fun, actually.
Yeah.
There's fun in it. Yeah.
Worked on a lot of those over the years.
There
you
I'm
go.
very well acquainted with that chassis. So.
Yeah, but a van is pretty much all I can handle, and everything else scares me because you're right, crosswinds. I mean, in my Mini Cooper, I can feel crosswinds, and that's scary. So I can only imagine. But hey, at the same time, like Barbara said earlier, you don't have to worry about social distancing. You're driving your house around, and assuming you can pick up some toilet paper in this toilet paper crunched era, then you're good. Okay, so
I'm glad that we bought some before this whole thing hit.
Yeah,
Even
right.
We were looking the whole way across the country. We went to Walmart's and other stores. It was amazing how there was like no RV toilet paper. What are people doing? Building houses out of the stuff or something?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's ridiculous to an
okay,
extent.
so that leads us to where I want to go next. Okay, you guys did your work stuff, but I want to hear, what did you see? Okay, so like let's just play the game of, what were the 3 best things that you saw in your trip? And then after that, let's talk about the 3 strangest things.
Or maybe what surprised you.
You, because you're traveling in the time of COVID. So if you want to start with the strangest and then go to the best, whatever you're in the mood for. But I want to hear, like, give us the good and give us the odd, the surprising.
Well, I know our church prayed for us before we went, and one of the people got a word for us, and that word was detours. So,
oh, nice.
It was one big detour. I mean, everywhere we went, we met people we didn't expect to meet, and did things that we didn't expect to do. And then, of course, when all the COVID things started happening, it was a whole bunch more detours and cancellations. But earlier in the year, I asked the Lord to give me a word for the year, and the word He gave me was trust. And trust me, and it's like, being on this trip and having all this stuff happen, it was an amazing word that we got, that I got, and then the detour thing was amazing too. I have to say we had some interesting times because I had my son, who's an engineer for Cummins Diesel, mechanical engineer. One of the trips back east, we were looking for a Jeep. He wanted to buy a Jeep Cherokee, one of the boxy Cherokees from the 90s, the early 90s and that. And so we looked at stuff back there, and it was just rusted out. They wanted a lot of money for it. So we said, why don't you find something out here? So he found something, and we went up north and picked it up in our car trailer and bought it for him and did some work on it. And he really liked it when he came out here at Christmas time. Well, how am I going to get it back there? I said, we'll tow it back. Well, so we put a tow bar and tow brake on it and towed it. And I said, I'm going to have to use it while we go down to Florida. And on the way out there, we went back. And of course, we had to stop and see Catherine and Seabrook there in Houston.
Love it.
There at their shop.
Yeah.
Love their new shop down there. So cool. And stopped in and visited them for a while. Did some writing. Of course, we have a tandem, and so another book we're working on is called Life in Tandem. Our book that we have for the RV market is called Living Life 1 Mile at a Time. So we have another book we're going to write about our relationship working together, because we do things together all the time. And so Life in Tandem, and then our subtitle is Living in Harmony with the One You Love. And so that's another book that we'll be working on after we get this one. They're just about ready to get it to the publisher now. But that Jeep was interesting. Barbara,
that's one of the strange things, I think.
Okay.
Jeep, because, when we left Grants Pass, Redding is about, Redding, California.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we know Redding.
South.
And you saw Rob Pitari. Yay.
Yeah. So Robert said he was driving the motorhome, and I had to stop in Medford and pick up a few things I was out of. And so he said, "Why don't you just meet me in Redding? We won't have to tow it down, because in California, if you're towing, you can only go 55."
I did not know that.
That's true. So he wanted to go faster because it's getting later in the day. So I was driving down the Siskiyou. Have you ever driven down there?
I have.
You know, the mountain
Like
pass.
Shasta and all.
Yep. Uh-huh.
The headlights went out.
What? What
Totally
time?
go out.
What time of night is this?
It's dark.
Oh no!
It was in January, so it wasn't real late, but it was dark. And so it was scary, so I pulled off, just found a place wide enough to pull off.
Oh.
And I didn't know what to do. I couldn't get a hold of Robert, so I called my grandson Bryce just to have somebody to talk to. I said, "The headlights are going off. I don't know what to do." And he said, "Oh, don't drive it." And then we were trying to brainstorm, and then Robert called me, and he said, "Go ahead and drive on into Redding," because they went off and on.
Okay.
So, but when they're off, it's no fun. And it was raining.
You got through the first part of it already.
But he let me know that I'm almost to the town.
To the RV park.
To the RV park. I'm almost down the mountain. He said, "You'll be okay. There'll be street lights." So that's what I did. And the whole time we had that Jeep, the headlights would go off and on at night.
Whoa!
That
I had to
is.
catch a plane to fly to St. Louis, and I was probably about an hour driving in. I don't know what time I had to get up, around 4 or 5, head in to catch a flight out of Tampa, because we were staying up at
Wildwood.
That's another story. But
That's another story.
It was awesome. That was a cool thing that happened. So the lights are going on and off. It wasn't bad on the straight stretches. Around the corner, it's a little bit. But, I've been to night school, so that helped a lot. So.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Anyway, so it was really interesting. Well, then she drives it. After I get back, the battery's dead when I fly back, so I had to get a security guard. So I'm not going to call AAA. There's got to be somewhere around here with jumpers. Well, of course, they know they're going to charge you to jump your rig. I could have got it for free with AAA, but I'm not waiting half an hour to get AAA, so I paid them to jump me. And then take off down the road and think, I don't know, I must have left the interior light on or something. I can figure out. Well, the next day, you said that.
Oh, the next day I found a place to get a nail appointment. So we're at this incredible place called the Villages in Florida.
We know the Villages near Ocala. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, we fell in love with it.
Of course you did. We have friends that live there. Yeah, you would love it. And everyone drives around their golf carts. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we didn't drive a golf cart. We rode our tandem on all the golf cart roads.
Nice.
It was so fun.
And live music every night, car shows. It was just a blast. We had some really cool people there.
But of course, that's all over now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
But anyway, I had found this place, and I went, and the car was totally dead. So Robert had to come and rescue me. And our new friend Bernie, he is amazing. He lives in the Villages.
Yeah.
He helped us get an RV spot in the RV park that was outside the Villages. There's a dog out there. Anyway, see? Anyway, so Bernie came with Robert, and they worked on that thing for about 6 hours and changed the alternator.
Wow.
In the parking lot.
In the parking lot.
Wow.
At a AutoZone or whatever it was. So
Wow.
It was Advanced Auto Parts.
Advanced
There you
Auto
go.
Parts.
On College Boulevard?
It was over there.
In Ocala.
Far from the Villages, really close to the Villages.
Yes.
They're just would that be south?
Just before the bridge.
Yeah. Okay. So you know what's
You know
funny?
where that is?
You were next door to my client, Pal's Ocala Auto Repair.
Oh, wow.
Seriously?
They are located next door to the Advanced Auto Parts in Ocala. And Chuck, his general manager, and Chuck's wife, Shelly, they live in the Villages. Yes, those are my friends. That is so funny. I so wish I had known that I could have put you guys together, but that's okay. You have your own adventures. Anyway, oh my gosh. So your son buys this Jeep, and this Jeep causes more challenges for you.
It kind of reminded me of, when I was a kid, that you always had to work on your cars all the time. You never knew, what was going to happen to them. But so it was good to, get to reminisce some of those old days. Have to change an alternator on a Jeep. A lot of it comes out the bottom, So anyway, it was an interesting time. So it was good for me to have to deal with that.
But that did fix it. And then Tommy bought a new switch for the headlights, and it's all fixed.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
so
goodness.
we're good.
Okay,
Everything's
good.
fixed.
So anyway, now what was the other question?
Just
You had a couple of
the highlights of the crazy and the highlights of the good. So just keep storytelling. This is amazing. So you guys were mentioning another.
Oh, Bernie and Pat are awesome as people we met. You want to tell
Yeah,
about Bernie and Pat?
Yeah, well, we met a man at the very first rally, and we've already mentioned him. He lived in the Villages.
Mhm.
He's a retired fire chief from Ohio, and
He's a gearhead, too.
yeah, he's a good. Yeah, he laid on that ground and helped take it out, take the alternator out. But they had us over for dinner. We took them to dinner on Valentine's Day. That was before everything was shut down. And they were just delightful people. And he took Robert all over and introduced him to
Shops.
He's the president of the largest FMCA group in the village, in the whole United States. That's the biggest group.
FMCA? What's FMCA?
Family Motor Coach Association.
Oh, wow. These were your
That was
people.
a rally that we did.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really cool. We really fell in love with those guys. Just great people. What a blessing to know them. And so that was really, I think that was really a blessing to meet them. He's actually on one of the live webinars recording that we do on safeandhappyrvers.com. That's where we're doing our recorded webinars. And we've got got a copy of my presentation on there that people can go on and watch, safeandhappyrvers.com. So we're really wanting to build our online community, and that's what we're going to be doing, a couple live webinars a month, and to connect with RV owners and bring them together and to get a good network of real top quality shops going and giving them a chance to ask questions and that. So,
Wow.
especially now that they can't go to rallies. So that's our big thing that we're working on now, instead of doing online rallies where people can connect all over the United States with their RVers and get their questions asked and just a chance to connect with each other now.
And I sure wish we would have made it to that event you guys had in early January, because now we can't do that for a while.
Right, that's right.
That's okay. That's okay.
This too will pass.
He does not know how to dance, but you can teach both of us.
That's
We
all
can.
good. We can definitely teach you guys how to dance. You teach us how to drive an RV. We'll be happy to teach you guys how to dance. Just don't make me back it up. That's my only thing. I don't want to back the thing up. That's scary.
We'll have fun either way.
Yeah, we will have fun. Wow. Okay, so what were like the top 3 favorite cities or regions did you prefer? Because you got to go. It reminded me you went from Oregon down south to Florida and then back up. Yes, you kind of did like a circle, or was it more like a straight line?
Well, we went through, California, and then through Arizona and New Mexico, a little bit of Louisiana, and how did we drop into Florida? What other states? Georgia?
No.
Alabama goes right into Florida. Yep, I-10, so you took I-10 the whole way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Dropped down on 75.
75.
I think Jen's driven that.
Took it. And first rally we did was at a really cool place called Sun and Fun Fly-In, where they have a big fly-in. They have a bunch of old World War II airplanes, just a museum, and they have an aeronautics school.
That
for my
sounds
school.
neat.
It's really a cool place right there in Lakeland, Florida.
Lakeland's awesome. Yeah.
And then a week or two later, we were down at, I guess it was 2 weeks later, we were down at Sarasota, which my good friend and author, Michael Pink, who wrote one of the books he wrote is called Selling Among Wolves, Not Joining the Pack. And he's got a sale right now. He's incredible sales, teaches sales in an amazing way. I just love him dearly. He's been a mentor of mine for over 20 years. And so a couple other people I'm working with, an author friend of mine, Joseph Peck, who wrote a book called, this is a cool name for right now. I was busy, now I'm not.
Oh, that's the name of the book.
That's the name of the book. I was busy, now I'm not. Okay, that's funny.
Yeah, he's such an amazing guy. They call him the time doctor. And so he knows how to properly use your time.
Nice.
So he says one of the main secrets of being spiritually fit is to ruthlessly eliminate hurry from your life. And so I was contemplating that. Okay, well, how does that fit being spiritually fit? He says, well, the Bible says love is patient. He said, you ever known anybody who's patient when they're in a hurry? And I said, no, you're right, because that's when I usually do the worst damage to all my friends is when I'm impatient, when I'm not willing to slow down and listen. I hurt myself, hurt other people, but so I just love that guy. He's absolutely amazing. It's so cool how everybody came together down there. And another guy that we're working with is helping us with our marketing. In fact, you know him, Wally Kessamon.
Wally, yes.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you guys love Florida. Are you guys moving to Florida after this?
No, not really. I love Oregon. But
Well, we can move there for a while.
I did love the villages, though.
Yeah.
Because all the places to ride, all the fun stuff to do there.
Yeah.
So we'll go back there, Lord willing, we'll go back. But Sarasota, I have to admit, that downtown area is really cool down there. We've been down there before, so we went to Tommy Bahamas. Love that place. We went to dinner down there one night, walked around the square down there. That was really fun. Had a great meal.
You've been there?
Yes.
St. Armand.
Yeah.
Are you from Florida?
I'm originally from Jacksonville, and we've had family in the Tampa, Sarasota, St. Pete area. Yeah, my grand aunt, my cousins, yeah, they're all in that area. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful down there. Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's Naples, which is also gorgeous. It's a skip and a jump, but that whole west coast of Florida is lovely. So okay, so you like Florida. Where else did you enjoy?
Well, I like Venice a lot. Venice, Florida. We met a lady. Robert did an inspection on her coach. She invited us down there because she owns property, and we got to camp out on her property for a few days. I mean, we just made friends everywhere.
Yeah,
that's the way to do it.
Incredible. Mediterranean restaurant ran by a guy that was like a CEO type person, CFO or CEO. I think it might have been CFO. And he just got tired of the whole thing, and he started this amazing Mediterranean restaurant.
Oh,
it was just like walking distance from where we were parking our RV. So we went there a couple different times.
It's probably closed now, but maybe he's doing takeout. I don't know.
I hope so.
I know. I hope they stay in business because a lot of restaurants are suffering. Okay, so sorry, I'm gonna tangent because that just reminds me. When I was on the phone with you guys yesterday, you were telling me some of the things that you saw that was kind of eerie and how things were empty. So if you could kind of walk us through, was it everywhere that it was empty? What did you see as you were traversing?
We made the black helicopters and the black cars. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm like, ooh, here we go.
You're so bad.
Things were really quiet. All the malls are closed.
And then did you have a hard time as COVID was continuing with the shelter in place? Did you have a hard time getting into RV parks and different things, or were you just able to handle it all?
No, we didn't. We personally did not have any trouble getting in.
Good.
All the state parks are closed, but there's a lot of private parks out there that aren't.
Good.
And we found that their rates are really reduced because, for instance, one by a casino, because the casinos are closed, all the amenities are closed, so it was like $25 cash.
Oh.
Full hookups. So things are actually less expensive.
Gas prices are unbelievably cheap right now.
I was going to
Gas
ask.
prices in California, cheapest I've seen them. They're only 20 cents more than they are in Oregon. I couldn't believe it.
Oh my
We got
gosh.
gas for, I think the cheapest was about $1.50 a gallon. So
I think it's dropped lower now in certain parts.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's impressive.
Yeah,
That
I need
is-
to go fill up my car.
Yeah, tonight we're gonna go fill up his car.
Ford 75 miles an hour, and you're you're watching. They got 50 down. I'll go ahead and make some time here, you know, because I drive the speed limit. So if it's if it's 75, that's where I like to go because it handles great at any speed. So with the fuel prices down, it was great because I could open it up and just boogie. I wasn't towing anything at that time. We dropped off even towing the Jeep though. We were doing. Well, in Texas, you can drive 80 and a lot of that. The trucks and everybody goes 80 down there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a big state when you're driving across there.
Yep, I've done it. I've done it when I moved from Florida to California. Texas was too big. It was like, really? More Texas? I mean, what is it, 888 miles or something across that I-10?
Yeah.
It's a long drive.
You're not kidding. But we have road construction, and
Wow.
man, there's some incredible road construction around San Antonio. We were cutting, doing different things. You got semis, right? I have to tell you, I cannot believe the billboards. There was one attorney that must have had 100 billboards rented. It's crazy. The same guy got a billboard on one side. His name, and it's like, what is going on in this country? It's like all these attorneys out there looking to lawsuits. Like there's something not right here when you got every billboard.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
We saw a lot of them in Florida. Tons of them.
A lot of motorcycle attorneys. Yeah.
I have not seen that in the West.
No.
If they have it, I haven't seen it.
You don't see it here.
Yeah, you don't really see it here, but you're right. Tons and tons of injury attorneys. It's frightening. But then again, in Florida with the no helmet law, hello. I mean,
they're really going after the truckers a lot down there in Texas. Now, the truckers are doing a heck of a job, and to drive those big trucks on these little narrow roads when those things are like 60 feet long or whatever.
Yeah.
I got to hand it to them. That's pretty tough, when you're going through there and that. So for the most part, most truckers are really good drivers. Of course, there's occasional ones that aren't great, but hey, it's just like it is. But they're doing their job, and I didn't care for that. So my brother said if it wasn't for attorneys, we wouldn't need attorneys.
That's funny. That's really funny. That's funny. Now, how did gosh, there's like so many questions, but like you're still happily married.
Grocery stores. We can talk about that.
Yeah.
Times in the grocery store.
Yeah, tell us about the grocery stores. Yes.
Where they let the older folks.
Oh, okay.
60 years old, like old fogies like us.
They could go in from 6 to 7. I said, well, why do you have to go in so early? But Robert said it made perfectly good sense because they've probably been cleaning. That's probably the cleanest time to go in. Right. Older people seem to suffer more if they do get the COVID-19, so that did make sense.
Yeah, that's true. And grocery stores were empty in the paper towel aisles everywhere, huh? Didn't matter where you were.
Yeah. Hand sanitizers.
No hand sanitizers.
Yeah, the wipes. Those were just gone just about everywhere. There was a couple Asian guys that ran like their gas station had a little Asian restaurant in there, and they were taking those big bottles and selling the little bottles for like $3 a piece. And that was, I said, "Oh, pay it."
We bought one
because we were getting low on it. We had it in our program. We never did run out. Yeah, but I'm glad we had some of that stuff. I'm glad we had toilet paper too.
Right.
The RV parks were complaining because people were putting all kinds of stuff in the septic systems, messing stuff up. So that could be a problem for people. But anyway, I don't get that one. But it was really interesting we got pictures of all the Walmart shelves that is cleaned out of stuff, and you can only buy like 2 gallons of water. And
that's right.
It was really bizarre. But these kind of things bring out the best in people, and unfortunately, sometimes it brings out the worst in people also, because fear sells, and that's like the newspaper, they like to sell the bad news. They don't tell you the good things that are happening.
Right.
Like they don't give you all the numbers. It's like this is the end of the world. Anything they can to scare people. And I remember when Franklin Delano Roosevelt. One of the things I remember reading about him and hearing him say was that in World War II, they really had some reason to be really afraid then. Yeah, the only thing they had to fear is fear itself. Is what he said. And so there's a lot of hyped up stuff going on right now. And so we just tried to, wherever we could, we would ask people we could pray for them and just try to smile and connect. And it was really cool to see people that you knew they were probably believers because they were smiling and they were peaceful and they were confident. And I'd say, man, Jesus loves you. Yeah, he loves you too. And they just had a peace about them, because I don't care if you live to be 120, you're still going to die, And it's really nice to have that. Where you're going from here is what really counts. That's what's really important. And to have that peace that passes all understanding. And you could spot people that had that peace, they were just calm and cool. Just today, I was over in Costco and I was freaked out because one of the employees that worked there had come down with the virus. So it was like everybody is really paranoid, really afraid. And I don't like to see that, Yeah, we want to be wise, but we can't let fear take over us because somebody said that fear is worshiping the wrong God. And our Bible says that, hey, God did not give us the spirit of fear, but power and love and a sound mind. So, sure, we clean ourselves up and all the rest of that, but we can't cave into fear. I mean, all the car wrecks and everything else I've been through before I even was a Christian, and God was looking out over me. And there in that time, sure, He's going to be looking out over me and the rest of the time now. So, but I get it. I get what they're trying to do. I get it, but there could be a lot of overreaction going on now too, which see anybody pass away from anything. But my main concern now is kind of our economy recover from this. What I don't want to see is a whole bunch of people commit suicide because they've lost their businesses or whatever. So we want to give people hope. We want to encourage people, and we want to be there to tell people, look, even if you lost everything, Colonel Sanders and other people like that. I don't know how many times J.C. Penney's was
right
when he was about 60-some years old. He was like, this is a long time ago. He was like $7 million in debt. He told God, I'm going to give you half everything that I have. He lived to be 90-some years old. Was a multi-millionaire. Unfortunately, a lot of those businesses get passed on, and people get the priorities wrong, and bad management, whatever. And a lot of those places that have been around forever are gone now. But but anyway, it's interesting times we live in. There's a Chinese proverb that says, "May you be born in interesting times," and these certainly are interesting times.
So one last question and then we'll wrap up. Okay, so clearly you guys are still lovingly, happily married, and you've done this trip together, and you've lived in close quarters, traveling 9,000 miles around the country in your RV. What advice do you have for, because you talk about circumstances, like a lot of people are cooped up in their homes right now because of lockdown, shelter in place, whatever you want to call it, right? People are, for the first time in recent history, we've never had anything like this. And what advice do you have for people who are feeling a little on top of each other and their relationships are strained and you want to help them get through it?
You're looking at me.
Yeah, she has to put up with me. I said she has a hard job. I do wheel alignment, vehicle alignment. I said she has the hard part, trying to keep me in line.
Honestly, I think that you have those priorities set before you get to a place of emergency like this. And personally, I have a relationship with the Lord where He was first in my life before I ever met Robert, and He had that same relationship. So I think that's why that we can have a good marriage. I don't know how people without that commitment do, honestly.
Yeah.
Because, we're human. I'm sure I get on his nerves. He gets on my nerves sometimes. But it's just coming back to that place where you realize how you treat other people is what's really important. And God helps remind you of that. Reading His Word, it's just all over in the Bible. And we have that new translation, the Passion Translation. I really love that. It just really puts it in a fresh new way. I don't know if you've seen that, but it's really good.
It's a huge blessing to read it.
It is. We have an app on our phone. What is it called?
New Version Bible app, and they have all those. Yeah.
Nice.
And it has, you can get the Passion on that. They don't have the whole Bible yet. They just have the New Testament and Proverbs and Psalms.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
okay. Good to know.
Song of Songs.
Oh, and Song of Solomon.
Yeah.
So
He's got a couple other ones done, but they're just not incorporated into the Bible yet. He's got Genesis done and Isaiah. And by my second time through Isaiah, it's like, I cannot believe the parallels that I see there. And the Old Testament is actually given us as example to look at. And I'm just amazed at the parallels that I'm seeing in there, and how God is so patient, and how He loves us so much, But sometimes He has to let some of these things happen to get our attention and to get our focus back where it needs to be. And I know when I married Barbara, one of the things I wanted to know was that I would marry somebody that loved Jesus more than anything else, because the other person I was married to wanted me to be her savior. And it's like, I had enough baggage of my own because of the abuse that I went through when I was a kid. I went through a lot of stuff, sexual abuse and other kind of verbal abuse and other abuse that I went through as younger growing up. And so I could have started my own Samsonite store on top of her, American Tourister store, and you got all this baggage. It's like some of this piece of destruction. You pray for a crop failure, I knew this woman for 30 days, and I wanted to run it off and eloping with her, and I never got any counseling or anything along that. So, people, it's easier to get married than it is to get a driver's license in this country, and there's something wrong with that. Something wrong with that. So, anyway, I really appreciate Barbara very much, because after you went through a really abusive marriage and a really bad marriage, I'm really grateful. And so every day I can wake up and say, I'm just blessed to be married to this woman. So very, very blessed. And so being thankful. In fact, Joseph Peck, the guy who wrote that book, one of the things he talks about is starting out each day by writing 7 things you're thankful for, at least 7 things. So I've been doing that every day, just writing down what I'm thankful for. Because it says, enters gates with thanksgiving and enters courts with praise. So I'll start out with being thankful, and I'll start out listening to worship music and start praising God and get into His presence and let Him talk to you, because believe it or not, He really will talk to you if you slow down enough to listen. So one of the beautiful things about happening right now is that people are having to slow down. He says in Psalms 46:10, be still and know that I'm God. And my friend Joseph says there's a trichord of leverage. Is you get rest, proper amount of rest, and it gives you time to reflect on what's going on around you. And then at that point, you get revelation. In other words, you're slowing down enough where you can actually write down, ask God questions, and you'll hear Him give you some of those answers that you're looking
for. And solve your problems. Yes. Yes. Wow.
Yeah, busy is. Somebody says the acronym for busy is being under Satan's yoke. So you're just running around like a hamster on a wheel. You're going so fast, you don't have time to slow down and reflect on what's going on around you. And,
good point.
Get that rest and reflection, and get to hear, and hear what's not being said. So I would say that's a good thing about this. We had heard that this was going to be an incredible year from people that were really prophetic people. In fact, there was a guy that had a prophecy every single decade. He just passed away recently, but the 20s was supposed to be a decade of rest. And I thought, well, okay, God, you're slowing us down quite a bit here right now. So you're starting out this decade. You got our attention. So.
Yes, you got our attention. But, it's interesting. Living here in Monterey, Renee and I are only 7 blocks away from the ocean. We can see it from here. And our beaches have been very quiet, obviously. So really the only people walking around, and we're all keeping our social distance, are us locals. And it's interesting because it's beautiful. Spring is here, the flowers are out. It's almost like it's a very peaceful time, and the weather's been gorgeous. The ocean looks a little calmer, and it's almost like nature is saying, thank you. I think nature needed the break just as much as we did, and I hope Mother Nature heals up a bit, because I mean, I am definitely no scientist, and I'm definitely spiritual, but I've been looking at the ocean a lot lately, and we've been having very beautiful, beautiful days, and very little wind, very few storms, like light showers, but really like just spectacular, calm, gorgeous weather that beckons you to go outside. And I'm still super busy. We're busy running the marketing agency, so we're not able to get outside, but I want to get outside. But yeah, these are very interesting times. But you're right, the time of rest. And I don't know about you guys, but I think we're tending to go to bed a little earlier than we normally are.
Well, we try to.
We try to. Sometimes, sometimes when I'm on a roll.
Well, Dr. Peck says for every hour you get to sleep before midnight, it's like 3 hours after midnight. So I thought that's really interesting.
Huh.
So getting to bed early. There's an old saying that we heard when we were a kid, What is it?
Early to bed, early to rise, makes the man healthy, wealthy, and wise.
I think there's a lot to that statement, and we need to go back and listen to some of that wisdom that people kind of forgot about.
Great.
Yeah.
Great point.
Be still and know that I'm God.
Yeah. Amazing.
I
you guys
pray for the first responders,
yes.
The people right now that are going through this, and we know that there's certain areas of the country that are a lot worse than others, and we know that some of the things that my grandparents would have went through, that flu during the early 1900s,
yes.
Oh golly, there was like
yes.
I don't know how many million people died.
1918. Yeah.
Yeah.
1918.
There was a. What? I don't know what.
That was the end of World War One.
Right after World War One.
People died from that thing, and then the plagues. And Isaac Newton, who was an incredible Christian scientist, he was placed on a year because of the plague they had, and that's when he came up with a lot of things about gravity and all those things that Isaac Newton came up with. He was a strong Christian guy, and that whole slowdown when he was forced to be in quarantine so it's basically a year. That was such a blessing to him.
Yeah, some breakthroughs,
right.
That
time.
I had no idea.
Somebody was sharing that. So.
Wow, that's a cool story. I did not know that about him. Wow, yeah, I'm gonna invent my own mathematics.
The New Testament, a bunch of the New Testament, Paul was written. He was in jail, and God had to slow him down. Put him in jail, and that's where Philippians, incredible. He was in jail when he wrote those passages. Rejoice, and again I say rejoice. The Lord is at hand. He wrote that when he was in prison. Those are called the prison epistles.
Whoa!
So
wow.
There's great value in slowing down, and I definitely need to because I can get wrapped up and get too many balls in the air, and it's been an interesting time. So I know that. God doesn't waste any pain or heartache in our life, and our faith has to be tested to find out whether it's worth a hoot,
Mm-hmm.
So these are all good things that we can turn this into good. That's got to be our attitude. How do we turn this into good?
Yes. How do we turn this into good? Well, we do this we turn it into good by getting together and having a deeper human connection and sharing our paths and our success and what it's like to be married and in business together, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, thank you.
We'd like to hear your stories sometimes.
Well,
we'll
hey.
have to hear your story.
We might have to interview each other.
We'll have to do this again. Pretty much our story in short: met dancing, still dance, love to dance. Haven't been able to dance lately.
No, not in the way we used to with our dance community, because that's another way of connecting is with our dance friends. and celebrating and listening to music.
And that human connection. So yeah,
Yeah.
just as you guys are able to go around the country and be welcomed and adored and loved by the RV community, we have the same situation wherever we go.
We can go to Florida. We can go to Hawaii. And it's the same.
Seattle, anywhere.
It's the
and
same connection.
Yeah, we're West Coast swing dancers, and then all the West Coast swing dancers find each other, and they're like, "Come on over, play with us." So it's true. It's wonderful to be part of a sense of community, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
That's awesome.
Right.
We do a lot of our tandem riding off on these wonderful roads and these bike paths that we find that are beautiful places to ride. So it's really, it is fun to get out there and be in nature and do something like that together. Challenge of it, but for me, dancing is like I'm still trying to learn to walk and chew gum. So I don't know coordinate when it comes to that.
That's okay. That's okay. I've had way too many bicycle accidents. I won't get on a bicycle again, let alone a tandem bicycle.
I'm
Forget
gonna
it.
get you a 3-wheeler. That's what you need.
Yeah.
Oh, see.
Yeah, a slingshot. Get me a
They got some
slingshot.
really cool ones now too. Let me tell you.
Yeah, you know,
Really cool
the adult tricycle, that is my speed, but I prefer motorized. I don't want to pedal anymore.
Well, we like to eat. That's our problem. We like to eat, so you got to burn it off, and that's a good way to do it.
Right. Well, thank you so much for being on Marriage Plus Business. Renee, do you have any parting thoughts?
No, I think it's incredible, your journey. How long did that take? Just your trip, 9,000 miles, start to finish. Was that a month-long endeavor? Or,
No.
Well, we left at the end of January 24th, and we just got back today.
Okay.
March 31st. So almost 2 full months.
Wow.
Yeah, but
incredible.
we didn't. But we stayed. You know, there were places that we stayed. Like we stayed at Wally Kassenbaum's for over a week in his driveway. That was
Awesome.
But we didn't plan to come back until the end of April, but our rallies got canceled. We were going to do a Southwest tandem rally, and we've probably done 10, 15 Northwest tandem rallies. We've never done a Southwest one. It was in Texas, in Kerrville, and I was so excited. It was over my birthday week, and then of course it got canceled. So I'm like, that was my big disappointment.
So I got to try to make it up to her somehow. Make it somehow.
Oh, well, happy belated birthday, Barbara.
Oh.
Well, it's not yet. See, it wasn't until April.
Oh,
Okay,
I'm sorry. Yes, okay.
That's okay.
Happy upcoming birthday, Barbara.
Rolling around.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so very much.
Thank you so much.
And we love you and we appreciate you.
Thanks for joining, and again, great to meet you both. Robert and Barbara. Yes, my pleasure.
Look forward to meeting you and breaking bread together.
Yes,
Absolutely.
for sure. Come on back to California. Or we'll come up there.
We'll go to Oregon.
Yeah, we'll go up there to Oregon and teach you. Okay. Love you guys. Thank you so very much. Have a great one. Bye.
Bye.